going to be constructing an informative text as a class based on the Australian animal, the kangaroo. Remember back to our previous lessons. As a class, we analysed and deconstructed an informative text on the koala. Can someone tell me the different parts of an informative text?
Yes, it's the introduction, classification, habitat, physical features, diet and behaviour, reproduction, life expectancy, and then the conclusion.
That's correct. When we are writing an informative text, it is important that we include all parts. Let's quickly revisit what we need to include in the introduction.
You need to include a general statement about the animal.
Yeah, and the classification?
That's where the animal belongs.
That's right. The habitat is where the animal lives, and the physical features is what the animal looks like. What is the diet and behaviour?
The diet is what the animal eats, and the behaviour is how the animal acts.
That's right. What do we include in the reproductive paragraph?
That's how the animal reproduces.
The life expectancy is how long the animal is expected to live. And finally, what is included in the conclusion?
The conclusion sums up everything that's been written and links it back to the animal.
Great work, everyone. Now let's think about the kangaroo and use our prior knowledge. Last lesson we did some research about each phase and stage of an informative text. Do you remember how we organised this information? We organised the information in a table, so every student should have their table completed, which we are going to use in our collaborative informative text. Now let's think back to last lesson. What are the 3 types of sentences we learnt about?
Simple, complex, and compound.
Great work, everyone. So today we will be learning to write a kangaroo information report, which includes a general statement, classification, description, and a concluding statement. Can someone read out the success criteria for me?
I can write a general statement, classification, description, and concluding statement.
That's right. So we are going to complete a joint construction of an informative text on the animal, a kangaroo. Alright, writers, today we're going to work together to construct an informative text. Our topic is the kangaroo, one of the most well-known Australian animals. Let's remind ourselves of the stages of an informative text. What do we need to include?
A general statement, classification, description, and a conclusion.
Great work, Hannah. Exactly, here's the structure. So we have our general statement, our classification, the description, which is broken into our features, diet and behaviour and reproductive system, and our conclusion. So our first job is to write our general statement. This is where we introduce the topic and hook the reader. We might use some descriptive nouns and a statement sentence. I want to give the reader an idea of how important kangaroos are and where they live. What could we say?
We could say that kangaroos are famous animals in Australia.
Nice start, Hannah. We can make it more engaging by using a strong adjective or 2.
What about unique or iconic?
Perfect. Let's try. So, the kangaroo is one of Australia's most unique and recognisable animals. Let's add a sentence to describe a key feature. What's something kangaroos are known for?
Jumping.
Known for its incredible jumping ability and long muscular tail, the kangaroo has become an important symbol of Australian wildlife and culture. Notice how we used an embedded clause at the beginning, known for its incredible jumping ability. That's a great way to add detail and is an example of a complex sentence. The kangaroo is one of Australia's most unique and recognisable animals. Known for its incredible jumping ability and long muscular tail, the kangaroo has become an important symbol of Australian wildlife and culture. What do we think? Does it flow?
Yes, I think so.
Great job, everyone. Now let's move on to the classification paragraph. What does this section do?
It tells us what type of animal it is.
Exactly. We need to classify the kangaroo scientifically and introduce some technical vocabulary. Kangaroos are marsupials, a type of mammal that carries and nourishes its young in a pouch. I want to add which family they belong to include more scientific language. Can anyone remember?
Macropidae? I think it means big foot.
That's right. They belong to the Macropidae family, which means Bigfoot. Now let's name a few species. What are the 3 main types of kangaroos in Australia?
The red kangaroo, the eastern grey, and the western grey.
There are several species of kangaroo in Australia, including the red kangaroo, the eastern grey kangaroo, and the western grey kangaroo. I want to end this paragraph with a strong fact. The red kangaroo, the largest of all, can grow over 2 meters and is the biggest marsupial in the world. Can someone reread the entire paragraph? Listening to the tone, we're keeping it factual using technical terms and present tense.
Kangaroos are marsupials, a type of mammal that carries and nourishes its young in a pouch. They belong to the Macridae family, which means Bigfoot. There are several species of kangaroos in Australia, including the red kangaroo, the eastern grey kangaroo, and the western grey kangaroo. The red kangaroo, the largest of all, can grow over 2 meters tall and is the biggest marsupial in the world.
Great job, Hannah. Now let's move on to the physical features. So now let's describe the physical features. Let's start with an opening sentence that introduces the topic. Who can tell me a sentence?
Kangaroos have strong legs and tails.
Great job. Let's rephrase that. Let's build that into a full sentence using a generalization. Kangaroos have many physical adaptations that help them survive in Australia's often harsh environment. Now let's describe how they move. Remember, let's use some different types of sentences. Their powerful hind legs and large feet enable them to leap up to 9 meters in a single bound, allowing them to move quickly across the open land.
What about their tail?
Their strong tail provides balance while hopping and acts as a support when sitting or fighting. Let's describe other features. So kangaroos also have short, dense fur that protects them from heat and dust, and large ears that swivel in different directions to detect sounds. Their vision is excellent for spotting movement, helping them to stay alert. Let's reread together. Check that we're using technical groups, present tense, and that our ideas are logically ordered. So, let's go. Kangaroos have physical adaptations that help them survive in Australia's often harsh environment. Their powerful hind legs and large feet enable them to leap up to 9 meters in a single bound, allowing them to move quickly across the open land. Let's read the rest together. Their strong tail provides balance while hopping and acts as a support when sitting or fighting. Kangaroos also have short, dense fur that protects them from heat and dust, and large ears that can swivel in different directions to detect sound. Their vision is excellent for spotting movement, helping them to stay alert to danger.
So the next phase is diet and behaviour. So let's move into our next description paragraph. What's a good sentence to introduce this section?
Kangaroos eat grass.
That's correct, they do. Let's write it more formally using a technical term and a compound sentence. So we could say kangaroos are herbivores, feeding mainly on grasses, leaves and shrubs. We introduced diet, so now let's link this to their behaviour. When are kangaroos most active?
I think they're most active at night.
Yeah, at night. What else?
And mostly at sunrise and maybe sunset.
Yes, that behaviour has a specific term. Do you remember it?
Is it something like crepuscular?
Yes, they are most active during the cooler parts of the day, especially at dawn and dusk, which makes them crepuscular animals. Notice how we introduced a technical word and explains it in the same sentence. This helps our reader understand the meaning. So now let's describe the social behaviour. Do kangaroos live alone or in groups?
I think they live in mobs.
They do. Kangaroos live together in groups called mobs, which provide protection and social interaction.
Should we say who leads the group?
Yes, let's include the social hierarchy. Within a mob, a dominant male known as the boomer leads and protects the group. Let's finish with a sentence about how they defend themselves.
Well, I think they kick with their strong legs.
They do. When threatened, kangaroos use their powerful legs to defend themselves or escape from predators, such as dingoes. Next is one of the most fascinating features, reproduction. What's unique about kangaroo reproduction?
They can pause pregnancy.
The reproduction process of kangaroos is one of the most remarkable in the animal kingdom. Female kangaroos have the ability to pause their pregnancies through a process called embryonic diapause. That's a very specific scientific term. We're embedding technical vocabulary again and giving a definition. This means they can delay the development of an embryo until environmental conditions are more suitable.
Should we say what the joey does when it's born?
Yes, a newborn joey is born tiny and undeveloped, about the size of a jelly bean, and immediately crawls into its mother's pouch. Inside, it attaches to a teat and continues to grow for about 6 months. As it develops, the joey begins to spend short periods outside the pouch before becoming fully independent. So, we've used chronological structure here to show the state of development. Alright, now let's describe life expectancy and threats. Who can give me a good opening sentence?
They live about 10 years ago.
They live about 10 years, yes. So in the wild, kangaroos usually live for around 8 to 12 years, although some can survive up to 20 years in protected areas. Now let's list their threats. Their main threats include habitat loss due to land clearing, vehicle collisions, drought, and predators.
Maybe finish with something a bit more hopeful?
I love that idea, Victoria. Despite these challenges, kangaroos remain highly adaptable and are an essential part of Australia's natural ecosystem. Alright, it's time for the end. It's time for the conclusion. So let's end with a strong conclusion. What's the purpose of a conclusion in informative writing?
To summarise and restate the importance.
The kangaroo is an extraordinary example of adaptation and survival. Its unique physical structure, social behaviour and reproductive system make it one of the most fascinating animals on Earth. As Australia's national emblem, the kangaroo symbolises strength, resilience and connection to the land. See how I've used evaluative language here, like extraordinary and fascinating, to show the readers why kangaroos matter.